Howdy YouTube, this is Steven, and I'm back with another photo analysis. This time I'll be analyzing the cover of Utada Hikaru's single, You Make Me Want to Be a Man. Okay, so when I first looked at this photo, I'm like, wow, this photo has a lot going on in it. It just has so much, imagery in it. It's like a robotic look. Then we have Utada Hikaru in the photo. You can see her face, and it looks like she's being manufactured. So I'm like, okay, all right. This is very interesting visually. You can't really see Utada Hikaru's face that good, unfortunately. But you can kind of make out something, you know. She has a blank facial expression, but in this particular photo, for the theme that it seems like they're going for, which is, being manufactured, like a person or an object being manufactured, this works because, like, she comes off as, a person. Well, not a person. Well, of course she's a person, but she comes off as like an item or a product that's being manufactured because it's kind of lifeless. So I think that works for this particular photo. All right, for the single cover, I think that can work, and she gets a pass on that. And I think her neck could have been better. She could have showed a bit more neck in the photo. Um, let's see. And I would have liked to have seen her eyes in this photo and seeing how blank they were. Um, but overall, I think she pulls off the blank look well. And also, if you look at this photo, you notice that there's a whole bunch of wires and other type of machinery. It's a lot going on here, and that really plays into the theme of it kind of plays into a theme of wanting to change, or changing, or being changed, because the title of the single is "You Make Me Want to Be a Man." So this is a shot of Utada Hikaru undergoing the process of becoming a man. I assume. However, I do want to point out something, and that is that Utada Hikaru, she cheated with this particular photo for her single cover, You Make Me Want to Be a Man. And what I mean by she cheated is that she used a still shot from the video for the song You Make Me Want to Be a Man, instead of having her people do a photo shoot for this single cover. However, I think that it works overall, and I think that it was pulled off. This photo was pulled off well, and I ultimately don't hold it against her, but I just felt the need to point that out. That this is a still shot photo from the video for You Make Me Want to Be a Man. It's not an original photo that had like a whole photo shoot for the single cover. Also, one thing that I noticed is her skin looks a bit different in this photo. She doesn't have her, porcelain white skin tone in this photo for some reason. I wonder why. She has more of a brownish tan skin tone. And I wonder if, was that intentional or did it just come about? And, did it have any meaning behind it? Perhaps. Who knows? I do give Utada Hikaru credit for incorporating the theme into this photo because, oftentimes based on the photos that I've seen of Utada Hikaru in regards to her singles and album covers, sometimes she doesn't, like, she tends to not incorporate the theme into her photos. But in this particular photo, she's done that, and I just want to give a shout out and say that, awesome, good job. Because oftentimes, if you incorporate the theme into the photo, people can understand the photo a bit more, and also the photo can make more sense to people. Well, I guess I pretty much said it. It can make more sense to people, as well people can understand it. Um, One thing that I would like to have seen in this photo would be just a bit more of a body from Utada Hikaru. Like they could have animated and gave her more of a body in this photo because this photo is kind of coming off as a beauty shot, but it's so far away that it's a body shot. This photo is meant to be a body shot, but really we only have Utada's face to look at. So I think that's a bit odd. But overall, I do believe and feel that this is, a good photo from Utada Hikaru. But I do think it's a little odd that we only really have her face to concentrate on because her body, we really don't see her body. And as well, it's probably a bit too confusing to really try and, you know, um, seek and see her body and try to, see, okay, is that her arm? Is that her leg? It's might be a bit too much to do or to try and do for some people. So, for me, overall, it's a good photo. But I just, again, I just think that that situation is a little odd that we have a full body shot here basically, but it's kind of more or less technically not. It's technically a beauty. It's technically a full body shot, but we only have the face to really look at to an extent. Like from Utada Hikaru, we don't see her full body, but it is a full body shot. So again, I just think that's a little odd. But overall, it's a good photo. But feel free to let me know your opinions. Feel free to comment. Feel free to subscribe. Feel free to give me a thumbs up. Your feedback and your support is extremely appreciated. Until the next photo analysis, adios and goodbye for now.